Well, good morning to everybody, my fellow yoga travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. It's Thanksgiving week, so my theme is about thankfulness for all of you out there listening, and gratitude for everything. Let's start with the sensate experiences. Be thankful for having eyes to see, ears to hear, lips to speak, tongue to taste, skin to feel, and a mind. Be conscious of all this. So let's go into this PowerPoint presentation today. I'll try to run through it rather quickly so we can get back to our busyness in life. Wakantanka, black elk. And while I stood there, I saw more than I can tell, and I understood more than I saw, for I was seeing in the sacred manner the shapes of all things in the spirit, and the shape of all shapes, as they must live together like one being. So as Rumi says, let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. So be thankful for everything in life, and hope that you can find the perspective where it all makes sense, even in the midst of the things that seem so difficult to accept about life. Nonetheless, you got to witness what's going on, like Smokey the Bear. He's an expert witness. They say that's one of the ways that you can know knowledge in yoga, right? Testimony of a bona fide authority. So yoga develops the witness. Otherwise, in the semi-sleep state, we're all subject to more suffering. So if you spot it, you got it, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. Learn to develop your intuition. Now, the guru, as in this case, Yogananda on the right and Sri Yukteswar on the left, they say, as an elephant wakes up upon seeing a tiger in a dream, so does the disciple wake up from his own sleep by meeting the guru. So what is that thing in you that awakens? It makes you realize I was like sleepwalking, like I had like one foot in the grave. I was like a zombie already. Well, the idea is to learn to meditate, to sit and see through the eye, just what's on the other side. Don't add anything, don't take anything away, and do not identify with it. That is the way to make your mind like a camera or a mirror, reflecting what's there, but not holding it or pushing it away, nor forgetting that what you see is not you. It's a creation, projection of the mind. So let go of the grip of personal ego, and that's going to reduce the tension in your life. Oh, Albert, what does he have to say? Well, he says matter is spirit reduced to the point of visibility. Great one-liner. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. Create a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. So my teacher says, what's intuition? Instinct made superconscious. Once you start on this journey of trying to discover the source of consciousness, you take the hero's journey. You have to hear the call, go and face some test and trial, and rest from the underworld, the zone of magnified power, whatever it is, get the boon of the gods, right? The golden fleece, the 10 commandments, whatever it is you go to bring back. And then you reincorporate, and you're invested, right? The right of investiture happens, and you have a new sense of who you are and what your relationship is to your society. Now, one of the things I always preach is to really be passionate about what you're doing. Nothing appeases the inner hunger as much as putting out the one with all the juice behind it. Only you know what that is. Everything else is going to come up short. And even then, you still may feel like, I'm not there yet. But at least I know I've given it the best I can. I left it all on the field, right? So yoga is as sweet a way of doing this. Just a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down, helps it in the most delightful way. I can't think of any other path that has so many wonderful opportunities for grace and positivity and satsang with other people on the path. You vibe as your tribe. But even with that, you understand there's nothing to hold on to. As Michael Meade says, false sense of security is the only kind there is. So you got to learn to run to the roar. You know, that's where the older lions have lost their teeth, lost their speed, but they put them downwind. And then the other lions roar, and then the antelopes or whatever run away from the roar into the pack where lunch is waiting. So to me, this is like learning to listen to the different aspects of your own inner body as it pulls you, the chakras, what's happening in any given moment. Are you motivated for preservation, for pleasure, for power, for affiliation, for questing, for developing deep intuition, or for even transcending yourself in a sense of self-abandonment? Remember, yogis hate to have their peace disturbed. That's why you thatch the roof, as we would say, so no water's going to get in. Okay, because in a well-thatched roof, no rain gets in. What are you doing to protect your integrity, to make those choices that are going to sustain you and help develop resiliency? But one of the things I've learned is the difference between getting high and being high. Here's an example of criminalizing drugs is futile because people will always be desperate to find any kind of chemical relief. In Afghanistan, for instance, and come in the form of the ubiquitous scorpion. They crush the scorpions, they smoke them, either with tobacco or hashish, adds another extra little toxic thing there. It can last for days, causes visual hallucinations. But I used to tell my college students, why do you get high? Don't you know that every time you get high, you come down? Seems like a weird strategy. No matter how much you smoke or pop or eat it, whatever, doesn't matter. But I know why they get high, because being high is great. But if you get high, you're always going to come down. So if you want to understand, how am I going to be high then? Well, then you have to work on what keeps you down. And then a whole new motivation happens. You're on the path, as they would say. So learn about other people. If you don't know how to humble yourself before anything, you haven't found the formless in every form. So as the Buddha says, stop being narrow-minded in your thinking. Your path is not the only one. Humble yourself and learn from others. If your faith is so sturdy, you shouldn't be shaken when you meet other people and what they say. So we pursue in yoga the four aims of life, right? Artha, accumulate what you need so you're not a parasite. Kama, enjoy, as they say in the Jewish tradition. You're accountable for every pleasure you're permitted to experience, but don't take advantage of. But put it on the bridle of Dharma so that you're learning how to be a virtuous person, a morally straight human being. And then all of it leads towards moksha, the liberation from the false understanding, from the ignorance of who we truly are, into the realization that we're living spirit embodied. And then remember, I teach about the four portals, whether it's the four yogas of Raja, Yana, Karma, and Bhakti, or it's the four divine potentials of the personality. These are portals or entries into potentials that every human being has, but they're lying fallow. They have to be actualized. They have to be made real by putting your energy into them and enacting them. And so here are four of the ideas, especially the negative things. The bossy queen. All right. Royalty commands, they don't demand. They're supposed to liberate, bless, bring just order, rule, decide, not abdicate. And besides, no one likes to be scolded. You get it? Then you have the female warrior. You know that they're off when they're mean, then they're sadistic. But they're supposed to serve a transpersonal end. They're supposed to have a mission, a purpose. They discipline themselves, they strategize, they reconnoiter, they see what the situation is, and they act decisively, knowing that this act could be their last one. But they're willing to die for it because they serve the transpersonal order, the throne that's worthy to be loyal to. And then, of course, there's the magician, the crone, I call it, the wise woman, La que sabe, she who knows, right? The medial woman. She positions herself psychically between the worlds. She's detached so she can see. She's wise. She's also a trickster. She suffers no fools, but she's also a healer. She understands how to use the various herbs, plants, and ritual practices to take a person back to the origins so they can become once again new, reborn. And of course, there's the lover aspect, the Haitara, the geisha, you could say, the cultured woman who brings about sensuality, beauty, aesthetics, music, fine food, eros. And of course, the negative aspect is the addict, the person that numbs themselves not to feel instead of becoming a connoisseur of feeling. So watch those four portals, whether they're the male, in this case, they gave the female representatives, but it's just states of consciousness, right? And then remember, a Shadow King has no power. A warrior doesn't act correctly. A magician has no knowledge, and the lover has no feeling. So that's how you know which one you're lacking and which one you need to put emphasis on. A universe from nothing. Why is there something rather than nothing? Isn't that an amazing idea? How the universe springs out of we don't know where. It's a mystery, isn't it? But ultimately, remember that our own unconscious mind communicates to us through symbolic analogy, like this dream of a modern person where telephone wires are washed up on the beach. And the person understands what it is. It's communication from the main line. from the mainland. But the neighbors think it's ugly and want it thrown back into the sea. But the dreamer is able to convince them of its practical and functional effectiveness, so they finally accept it. What's bubbling up from beneath the surface, communicating to you, however cryptic it is, pay attention. And ultimately, all our life can be seen as an alchemical crucible that we're using experiences. We're trying to turn up the Bunsen burner, see what happens when we raise the heat. And then does something happen? Does some transformation happen? Do we experience the philosopher's stone, the elixir of life, the fountain of youth, moksha, samadhi, freedom, whatever word you want? I hope so. Anyway, have a great day. Speak to you soon.